It's a way of the Mr. Quickie, oh yeah. Throughout our time here on the planet, humans have developed various ideas regarding what we in the modern world would call ethics, morality, fairness, and justice. One can imagine it beginning with something rather passive, like, I won't mess with or take your stuff if you don't mess with and take mine. Very quickly evolving into something much more aggressive, like, if you try to put that thing in that hole again, I will break it off and shove it down your throat. Experiments have shown that animals also have an acutely developed sense of fairness.
So she gives a rock to us, that's the task, and we give her a piece of cucumber and she eats it. The other one needs to give a rock to us, and that's what she does. And she gets a grape, and she eats it. The other one sees that. She gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber.
Young children also have a sense of fair play. When I learned at the age of 5 that the ice cream truck playing music did not mean that they were out of ice cream, I was filled with a deep sense of injustice and a desire to injure my father, who told me that was the case. What a cheapskate.
And churlish.
Churlish indeed. Over time, the ideas of fairness and justice and exactly what those words mean became something virtually everyone cared about, to the point where societies began to codify these ideas in writing, spreading these codes of conduct throughout the population and enforcing these codes through some kind of primitive justice system. We have the codes of Ur-Nammu, of Hammurabi, and of Eshnunna. Those codes all predate the laws of Moses in the Hebrew Bible, which went a step further, suggesting that we should love our neighbors as we love ourselves. That was a pretty good general rule and worked out well for most, unless you were really into self-pleasuring. From Middle Kingdom Egypt, we get, do to the doer to make him do. And from a later period, we get, that which you hate to be done to you, do not do to another. Unless they enjoy that kind of thing, obviously. We know this principle as the Golden Rule. Most of us know it from the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus said, whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. Given that modern humans have been around for up to 300,000 years, Jesus was definitely a little late to the party. But a commenter, Assassino Jake, thought it might be a good idea to apply the Golden Rule to God and Jesus, since we're supposed to be in relationship with them. Of course, none of us have a way to create a place filled with pain, suffering, evil, etc., and then force God and Jesus into that environment without their consent or without their magical powers. Nor do we have a way to condemn them and all of their descendants for one of them making a minor error before they've been imbued with a sense of right and wrong, good and evil. Although I guess we could make them some kind of clothing out of animal skins. Nor are we omniscient, all-knowing, and completely aware of all the horrible things that will happen to God and Jesus should we place them into that environment filled with evil and suffering. I'd like to think that such an awareness would find us thinking twice about the entire project, and instead using our omnipotence and all-goodness to create a world where they wouldn't have to endure such suffering. If something truly horrible were happening to one of them, to God or Jesus, something which we knew would deeply traumatize them and have horrendous consequences for the rest of their lives, I couldn't see us just standing back and watching that scenario play out, especially if we had the power to stop it. Certainly not if we're doing unto others, to them, to God and Jesus, as we would have them do unto us. Of course, there are some benign ways we can do unto them as they do unto us. We can judge them harshly for the things they do, allowing slavery, rape, marriage, ordering genocide, etc. We can also be absent in their lives, ignore them, and dismiss their pleas for relationship and benevolence. We can neglect our knowledge of what hurts them, God and Jesus, and embrace sin like it's our bestest doggy friend ever. I'm already there. Of course, God and Jesus don't play by their own rules. They don't do unto others as they would have done unto them. So if they do exist, this might not be the best advice to follow, because they will burn you to a crisp over and over and over again, which I'm sure is exactly how they'd want to be treated in similar circumstances. Once again, I'm me. Thanks for watching.